2013, Mick Foley has a big breaking news. So Mick Foley's mother passed away following a dementia battle. He added, statement quote, Mick Foley has announced that his mother has passed away after a long battle with, with a dementia. As a WWE Hall of Famer received an emotional tribute on Facebook, pressing her listen to Apollo was a hardship in her role in saving his life in his career. So Mick Foley said his family chooses to honor her in a public message of oaths and journey with and dementia and their own families to know and they are not alone. And he wrote, he added, so goodbye, Mom. As it is with a heavy heart, I said certain news of my mother is passing after a long battle. So I with a dementia, my mother was an innocent private person, similar so that I prayed with Jerry not to so her inside the crowd at 8 of late 1997 at Madison Square Garden Soul, and he added, and I have stronger in 22 decor, and where I should make her passing public what we're responsible, there will be no fussing, no fighting, not even in forcing, but in, said it in. And it was has a family feel it will be good for all of us. What if this was a tribute of some kind to a remarkable woman, also knowing I am so far from alone and with my syndrome of 8%, and with such a defining illnesses, I am hoping that by running this tribute with all families is the same expression when know they are not alone, that all out there can feel their pain. And Make 40 says added, so my mother was born on a farm in a small town in western New York in late 1938. I am also a hills of the great deposit times went to a tough, so the food on her family table was either with on going on to a farm up posted by a Bible out that nothing in child had to be to set the straps as it so far as it could pausing go in his seat carried to foster necessity long on that farm in her child in her life in my high school and of years. I would see my best friends passing sewing in their winter coats when they came to my house, and it took me of years to realize that not many families can sit at 56 as a winter or went without either a fussling inside a home or inside an entire car, and those causing some of my past. He said, after when I grew up in a 64 square foot room in a 200 square foot home with one small bathroom for the entire family, I believe I was 12 years old when a student was added onto my room, destroying my 8x8 room into a 10x8 room and moving of 16 square foot on my brother's son, and if only recall of just gaps. And my mother will make receipt sending a bill from a restaurant, and any restaurant see so it knew what it was like to grow up a poor, and I did not see any need to pay out any more. It was mostly literacy, so with your wondering where this legendary Mick Foley doesn't came from, it was from my mom. And in those lessons learned that have survived me for also years. My brother and I thought we had it made to we had close friends in the neighborhood, in our own neighborhood, and we a Bill team was the Yankees in a home cooked meal on the table every night. I knew just it's not a drop of tiny blood is it, and 40 grocery I have never tasted of spaghetti and meatballs or a Sonic that could test my mom's whole milk seal on a Christmas day. So it wasn't Jesus, was it a bright human heart of yolk seal, a pudding such the best there is the best, and it was the best there ever will be. And a couple of years ago, my mother had never once mentioned that she had been struggling with Apollo, has insinuated had my father has not told me. I never would have known. Then one day, mid-40s, has sealed the story. Obviously, before my mother went into the cyst, let me do just a progressing of her disease. She brought out a small keeps box with some little newspaper clippings. It was in one of those clippings, and I read of her a month-long bottle. I with the disease, and I may have done some positive things in my career, but my mother stomped a mud hole and puddle and washed it dry, and it grew into a strong, independent woman who became the first member of her family to attend college, or her gas for a college. In any case, it was met with much resistance from her father, who simply did not see the need for a woman to have a college. And I guess their relationship to remind and sit up into my grandfather's staff or Demenita in the early 1990s, but my mother never got that college, and the cases she value so Granny just graduated new to the top of her class. And it landed a job as a pet school and got a teacher in a small, long, insolent town of Sid. As it New York, it was the Simone met my father and gave up her own message to become a full-time model to me, and my brother Sean must give it us to see dreams of our own. And when I was 15, my mother went back to work for 20 plus years and always making sure my brother and I had a home cook a breakfast before she began her work day. her first noise never ended entirely on the two different master's degrees, and it was like a walking night after night. I would look on embarrassment as my mother was severely answering my question after question, nothing wasn't so brittle, and it said chronic questions I never once. I had heard her say I don't know in regard to one of my witnesses. I say those three words to my surgeon almost every single day was up until such a few years ago. I didn't realize that disease had already taken its toll. She was still passing off to good size in a week. She loved reading to me, and my brother spoke my and my own love for reading into I did not realize it will. And when I sat down in my notebook to write have a nice day, I was not doing it all, all on my own, and my mother was guiding me all those years. The idea of engagement allowing me to believe I had such necessary tools to write on my very own book, on books that released my mother, carried it with her, and with that in that of 570 pages. It wasn't like by any means like Crescentico with every news to have every town just quotes this principal perjury over me in St. Louis in back in late 1999. I do believe her Boston moment as my mother was seeing my name on the cover of a book. I had really there is no way I could have done it without her. I knew my mother forced child support wrestling of back in April of late 1997 after a sit-down for interview with St. Ross, where I talked about my reactions to my forced experiences into Boston of Japanese death in Matt's wrestling by saying Miss Foley baby boy is funny home. Had they all not taken interest in that, but Mrs. probably would have been one of them instead. But speaking of St. Walls, Buddy sneaked silk his teeth into and mingle into his words. My mom became the part of my character with the process of doing Sassy Walk in Model 8 TTTA wasn't such a busman. I can think of no old model. How your hands can't bend so closely in the case with a solid pro wrestling, certainly I guess above Big Wheel will have reasons to, but my model doesn't probably cost any passenger will ever be a Miss Foley on a pole maps. I just plus being kind, you never know what struggle someone is going to took it on a great deal of added. As if my mother Demenita to see such a bony, strong woman with serving away, so reply was the most delicate things Amy been through, so existed to put her into assist, and it was heartbreaking, but I think by that point she was no longer gave up taking care of herself and had taken to running off with Nancy, gave up with after catching her about to wander off into night at 3 a.m. in New Hampshire, White Mountains. I suddenly realized that the trip we planned to see the earlier Christmas busted into a play of Chicago on their way would not come to pass. I've been wandering off into a small town of was one thing I knew when I see wander off into the night in New York City, and we might never see her again. I will remember the hopelessness in her eyes and my brother and I asked her when she knew our names. She came up with wrong names for both of us, decided she needed to leave the home she lived in for 60 years. It wasn't well, just a child family. I just sometimes made me freeze with a type of dark cloud of Demenita. Just which brings you need to look for the finest kind of soul money for me. That soul money was knowing that was even as a disease wasn't we probably even as we knew. There was no sense of happy ending to her life story for a short windows of time. There was something of shadow like wonder in her eyes, sparkling with see with watch hundred movies or windows or her favorites or television series of all time. And her the indications to the soul became real. No among of some of the cast, so much that when I met outlined the star Sam in at New York Comic Con his first words to me. At your house, your MUM into my first book. The accomplishment my mother was the most proud of because second had to go to my role in Star Wars I but in one of those Sonic Buzzet the many movies where just actors will recording you on their smartphone and send them in at which point the eclipse would be done in while in wonderful ways for my mother, seeing her baby boy as they do it yourself movies, starting both at Manuel leaves Sam Hank and it just couldn't believe it's not to miss scenes was a comic advertisement for her, her very proud parent. I ordered for different cameos and figures for her from the cast of Atlanta and Hurry the Joe's stars. See, I knew so much talking about her own son because of her. I knew with pride since her passing and then bringing her beloved has so and filled her parents with me as I watched the tight, not principal initiative in the person in color at yes America. So I just said 2 weeks before her passing my century and I all had the sense to say our final goodbyes and we took turns a holding whole hand and turning whole no must be love whole. In what expressive part of our list she only spoke a few words that day, but her eyes were open. She was alert and like to believe, and she heard every loving word we spoke that day. I returned to visit her just 2 weeks. After little, and the light was gone, there was no sign of it. Her hand and told her I loved her and that it was okay to let go. In a few days later, she was gone. I hope it prayed that one day this terrible disease will be it one day no one will have to go through the same sponsor my family did until that day. So I'm guessing all of you in person said little things to your loved ones. Your love it never take a single free moment for granted. I own a debit of gratitude to my brother, son, and his son's sake for your constant puzzle in her life during such a difficult period of time. Goodbye, Mom. I love you very much, and will always be proud to be Miss Foley, baby boy. Agency took on his Instagram page of Mick Foley. So this is Mick Foley's his syndrome is all grown up in his mother way. So we will list Mick Foley's and Candace's family and fans. So this was getting a hard time for them. Just hard time. So after we with Mick Foley's entire family to visit our and Candace's entire family and fans. So when I do hard else on Mick Foley's entire family to visit her mom has now passed away at a sad time. So when I do hard else, and don't forget to like subscribe. And by this time, peace.